why Keshwanand Bharati case became very important? Because the question was that how courts should interpret the constitution. Interpretation of the constitution, that became the fundamental. Because we know that here it is Supreme Court. Supreme Court is responsible for interpreting the constitution. Supreme Court is guardian of the constitution. And the important point is that how Supreme Court is going to interpret the constitution. That is not written anywhere in the constitution. And normally, initially, Supreme Court was relying over legal method. Supreme Court more relied over text for interpreting the constitution. What was written in the constitution? What was the text? Supreme Court relied over that. Or Supreme Court relied over the debates of the Constituent Assembly. Therefore, this was a historical method. How we can understand the constitution? Through history, that is historical method. How we can understand the constitution? Through law, that is a text. Constitution also supreme law of the land. That is the point. While understanding the text, Supreme Court will only examine that whether Parliament is avoiding their functional competency. And what Supreme Court normally examine? The Parliament should not make a law in the domain of the Legislative Assembly of a state. Parliament should not make a law against Constitution. And what is written in the Constitution? Supreme Court tried to read out the Constitution as it is. This was a legal interpretation of the Constitution. That is point earlier it is said that what is a fundamental right? That is written in the article. That is fundamental right. You cannot demand more right. What is written in Article 21? What is Article 21? Right to life and personal liberty. You cannot demand any other right. Therefore, D.D. Basu says that fundamental right which was written in our constitution are exhaustive in nature. You cannot demand for more rights. This was a legalistic interpretation of the constitution. But what is the problem in legalistic interpretation of the constitution? Because it is not considering the changing time and circumstances. Because the meaning of the constitution is same. But we know that even text also change according to context. Again, I am saying that somebody is sending a message to you. I dash you. So how you will understand the message depend upon what is source of message. If source is my parents, meaning is some exactly different. But if source is somebody's friend, meaning is automatically different. So what is more important? Text is more important or context is more important? Then Supreme Court say historical method. Because if you look the historical method, Constituent Assembly very much firm that Parliament is supposed to give more, Parliament is supposed to have more power. This was opinion of our Constituent Assembly. That's very firm. Because matter of fact is that even like American founding fathers of the Constitution, Indians were also said that we should give more power for Parliament because Parliament represents the will of the people. And that is the essence of a democracy. You must remember, judiciary is non-elected body. What is the most important thing in democracy? Election. Bureaucracy is not elected body. And then member of Constituent Assembly, what they thought that they want to give independence to judiciary, but not supremacy. Therefore, it is a parliament who understand will of the people better. Therefore, Parliament understand the will of the people better. According to changing social economic context, Parliament will bring about change in the Constitution through Article 368. Because it is member of Parliament who are better aware for the need of the people. It is member of Parliament, not non-elected judiciary. But what happened? What happened later in Keshwanand Bharati case? Why Keshwanand Bharati case was unique? First time in 1973, Keshwan Bharati case said that while interpreting the constitution, context is more important. Later is more important or spirit is more important? Spirit. Spirit became more important, not later. And that is when context became more important. What is the context? Social condition. What is context? Economic condition. And that is point. In age of technology, a right to life and liberty will change automatically. Because right to privacy came into existence because of the rising importance of technology. Now technology is very much encroaching in the privacy. Then in case of a changing environmental problem, how you will interpret the Article 21? Therefore, Article 21 means environmental rights. See, context change. Otherwise, when India became independent, environment was not an issue at all. Again, even while changing the social economic condition of society, there was women's empowerment. And once there was women's empowerment, now Supreme Court says that even there is a prevention of sexual harassment. It means a right to life was changed. Why? It means who will interpret the constitution? Judiciary. How it will be interpreted? Through spirit, through philosophy of the constitution, through context. And that is point. Who know the social changes better? Judges or member of parliament? That is bone of contention as of now too. So recently what Dhankar vice president said that, oh my God, our vice president said that, no, it is we the people. Parliament. People asked to Mr. Vice President, what is basic structure? Who said that parliament is basic structure? Nothing is basic structure. But you see, ask the same question to Justice Chanchud. He said that no, it may be the opinion of my Vice President. I am not agree with that. That was the fundamental point. And you look, the point is that when Supreme Court says that we have to see spirit of the constitution, philosophy of the constitution, context of the constitution, where is the context? Where is this philosophy lies? Because if you look our constitution merely stating the article 21, look the fundamental right. If you look the philosophy of fundamental right, that is coming from liberalism. But constitution is not stating the liberalism. If you look the philosophy of DPSP, socialism, constitution is not stating socialism. And you will be surprised to listen that even our constitution does not mention the federal form of government. Our constitution mentions nowhere the parliamentary form of government. Therefore, philosophy is not written in the constitution. And therefore, from where I should get the philosophy? That philosophy I should discover in preamble. It is preamble where I can discover the spirit of the constitution, philosophy of the constitution. That is point. Since 1973 onwards, what Supreme Court says that preamble is a part of the constitution, integral part of the constitution, and very importantly, how we can understand the constitution with help of preamble. That is point. How we can understand Article 356, help of preamble. How we can understand Article 21 with help of preamble. You will say, how help of preamble? How 356? Because when Bomai case, when Supreme Court was considering the Bomai case, which I will tell you in the federal form of government, Supreme Court says that federalism is a basic structure of the constitution and 356 can be imposed on the ground of violation of secular principle. Secularism is a term only mentioned in the preamble. Second, in the case of Puttaswamy, most recent case, in this of Puttaswamy, what government argued that we are rolling out Aadhaar for providing welfare services for the people. For providing welfare services for the people. But the petitioner argued that no, you are violating my right to privacy. The question is that our constitution says that equality is important, but not on the pretext of violation of liberty. Otherwise, we will become like a China. That is point how Supreme Court says that dignity of individual is equally important, privacy of individual equally important, and social justice is also important. Both are not antithetical, both are not contradictory. That is the idea of a preamble, and that is point time and again Supreme Court took the help of preamble in order to interpreting and understanding the Constitution. Therefore, it said that now it is a preamble which has become integral part of the Constitution. Not only integral part, most important part. Therefore, Nani Palkiwala says that it is introduction of the Constitution. Even it is said that it is a horoscope of the Constitution. You believe in a horoscope? It is a horoscope of the Constitution. It means it is a short microcosm of the Constitution.